The first DLC just dropped for Atomic Heart titled Annihilation Instinct, and this is going to be my brief review of it. This DLC is going to run you about $10 if bought separately, or $40 if you buy it part of the Atomic Pass, which will also include the other following expansions, which is 2, 3, and 4, as well as some other little goodies. Now, the base game was launched back in February to pretty okay reviews. A lot of the reviews noting the downright gorgeous looking graphics and rock solid PC performance, but a lot of the people not being so high on the writing and world design, which was seen as the weakest part of the game and left a lot more to be desired. I just want to get this out early. If you did not like the base game of Atomic Heart, then this DLC probably isn't going to be for you. But if you're in the camp that liked the game and you want more of it, this is going to be right up your alley. Now, this DLC does take place after one of the main game's endings. It is recommended to have finished the base game before playing this add-on. I won't spoil it here, but if you've played the game, then you'll know which ending this takes place after. This time around, we are dealing with the not-so-horny fridge from the main game that was gone a little more murderous and killer this time around, Nora. Nora has trapped you in the Mendeleev complex and has tasked you with rerouting her code, and this code was split up into 8 different pieces, and tracking down those 8 pieces is going to be the main goal of the expansion. And the areas that you visit will seem pretty familiar to the main game, but all still look gorgeous as ever. I played this expansion on an RTX 4080 with an i7-13700K, and my performance was rock solid the whole way through. And it will take you about 2 to 3 hours to finish this DLC as you're shuffled from area to area, with each area having an accompanying BD. Now, these BDs sort of serve as Nora's master code, which you are trying to reassemble as you go throughout the complex. Now, the BDs are also a new enemy type, along with the mannequins that can take their bodies apart and hurl pieces across the map, only to recall them and rush you with an attack. For instance, one can take its leg off, throw it at you, hit you kind of like a boomerang, call itself back, and then rush you. And then the aforementioned BDs are these fast, agile little balls that can move around and reposition in a moment's notice. While these little guys aren't particularly dangerous on their own, it's once they start combining into bigger pieces to form one giant machine that the real challenge comes. There's a boss fight that does happen involving these particular enemies that was a lot of fun to play through, as I found it to be challenging, as well as asking me to use the environment to aid in taking down the boss, which was a nice little touch. And the base game isn't going to be a walk in the park either, just like the DLC, and you will find yourself dying plenty of times before you're able to clear and take out that room of enemies. How you're taking down those enemies is going to be a little different than the base game, as none of your abilities carry over from the main game, with a few weapons making the jump as well. In addition to some of your previous weapons, we're introduced to the new ranged weapon, the Sector, which is a minigun with a blazing fast fire rate and an alternate firing mode that charges up a red wave blast that can take out an entire group of enemies in front of you in one shot. And then to top it off, we have the Kalusha, which is a staff-like weapon with sharp edges on the ends. And I gotta give a little shout out to the animation team because they really went crazy with this weapon when they're doing some of the basic melee attacks or the charged up melee attacks, and I just wanted to give a little showcase here. In combination with the new weapons, we have a new ability in the form of the time slowdown, as well as the shield ability, which allows us to block incoming attacks. And the time slowdown ability is easily one of my favorite abilities, as it saved my ass plenty of times when dodging lasers or incoming enemy attacks. The shield ability does have a nice little upgrade that when it breaks, it can cover the surrounding enemies in a polymer substance, leaving them open to a stun attack from your glove. The worst part about this, unfortunately, is that you sadly can't use any of these abilities or weapons from the first DLC in the main game, which I was hoping for, but I'm going to assume that this arsenal will carry over into DLC 2 and so on. Like I mentioned at the top of the review, if you enjoyed the base game of Atomic Heart, I think you're going to enjoy this add-on a lot, and for $10, I think it's a fair price considering what's on offer. I did want to give one final shout out to the music, which is once again banging as always. Easily one of the biggest standouts in the main game was the combat and ambient music that would play, and Annihilation Instinct delivers on that front once again. That about wraps it up for me here. I do plan on reviewing the other DLCs as they come out. Really just depends on what else comes out around them. I might have a small video up about a game I'll be playing this upcoming weekend, but I can't exactly tell you what it is, but I'll let you know more about it if I can. If you'd like to catch up on some of my other reviews, check out the playlist below and subscribe to catch all my upcoming reviews for Starfield and more. This has been my review of Atomic Heart's first DLC, Annihilation Instinct. Thanks for watching.